The Galactic War Council was held in a great hall floating above the planet Chorus. Inside, leaders from 13 alien species gathered around a round table. They spoke in loud voices, some arguing, others laughing. At the far end of the table sat a human, Commander Jacob Hale. He wore a simple black uniform and remained silent. The air was tense. For months, the border planets had seen more raids, more fights. Something had to be done. But today, the council didn't speak of peace. They spoke of war. A tall, green-skinned Zareth general stood up and slammed his claw on the table. "Your human code of war is nonsense," he said, pointing at Hale. "Rules, limits. In real war, only the strongest survive." A few others chuckled. A Repton commander showed his sharp teeth in a grin. "Why do humans protect civilians? Why don't you strike first? Strike hard." Another alien leaned forward, his 4 eyes blinking. "You humans follow a code like it's a holy book. It makes you weak." Commander Hale said nothing. His face was calm. He looked at each speaker with steady eyes. A Trellic diplomat leaned back and crossed his arms. "We've seen your battles. You win, yes, but your rules slow you down. You could end wars faster without them." Someone else laughed. "They call it the code of war. We call it the code of cowards." The room fell into soft laughter. Commander Hale finally spoke. His voice was deep but controlled. "The code is not about weakness," he said. "It is about control, about knowing what kind of soldier you are, what kind of species you want to become." A few in the room rolled their eyes. The Zareth general growled, "You say words, but we see numbers. You lose more soldiers than you should." Hale stood. "Better to lose some than lose everything." A silence fell. The council leader, a tall, silver-skinned being called Yaros, raised a hand. "The humans claim their code brings order to chaos," he said. "Let us put it to the test." Murmurs spread through the room. "There is a planet on the edge," Yaros continued. "Nara 7, under attack, enemy forces strong. The humans say they need no help, just a squad and their code." The others laughed again. "You will die there, human," the Reptans sneered. "Maybe," Hale replied calmly. "But we'll die as humans," Yaros nodded. "So it is decided. The humans will go. We will watch. We will see what their code is worth." Commander Hale walked out of the council chamber alone. Outside, the stars shone bright. His ship waited, engines hot. His team was already aboard. He stopped for a moment and looked up. "They don't understand," he whispered. "But they will." Aboard the human ship, Resolute, the mood was focused. The squad knew where they were headed. Nara 7, a colony planet rich in energy, now caught between 2 rival alien armies. Hale stood before his team, 7 soldiers, men and women, tired but ready. "They think our code is weakness," he said. "They think we fight with honor because we're soft." He looked at each of them. "They forgot what the code is really for. It's not to protect us from the enemy, it's to protect us from ourselves." The ship jumped into faster-than-light travel. Nara 7 was close. Back in the council hall, the aliens watched the departure on a giant screen. "They will be crushed," one said. "Good," said another. "Maybe the humans will finally drop their foolish rules." But not everyone agreed. A quiet voice, soft and thoughtful, came from a small alien scholar who had been silent all day. "Or maybe," he said, "we will finally understand why they follow it." No one replied. Far away, the Resolute dropped out of warp. Nara 7 came into view, a once green planet now burning. Smoke rose from cities. Ships exploded in orbit. Chaos reigned below. Commander Hale looked at the flames and said just one word: "Begin." And the humans dropped into the fire, not with rage, not with fear, but with something else: discipline, purpose, code. The war would test them, but they would show the galaxy why humans made the code in the first place. The dropship shook as it entered the sky of Nara 7. Flames lit the clouds. Human Commander Hale stood behind the pilot, watching the ground come closer. His soldiers sat quietly. No one joked. No one moved. Each one wore the same calm, trained look. This wasn't their first mission, but something about this one felt different. They weren't just here to fight. They were here to prove something. Outside the window, the ruined colony city came into view. Half of it was in flames. Alien mechs stomped through the streets. Civilians ran for shelter. Drones buzzed through the air like angry insects. Explosions flashed in the distance. "Touchdown in 10 seconds, the pilot said. Commander Hale turned to his squad. "Remember the code," he said. "Protect the civilians. No strikes on wounded. Never shoot first unless threatened. Work together. Watch each other. No rage, only reason." They all nodded. No words needed. The dropship landed hard. The ramp opened. Smoke poured in. The squad moved out like a wave. Clean, fast, no panic. Blaster fire came from the left. 2 enemy fighters charged, screaming. The human point man waited, then shot both cleanly in the legs. They collapsed, alive, screaming, secure. "Them," Hale said. "They'll live. They'll talk." The team moved fast, clearing the way to a nearby shelter. Inside, dozens of civilians, humans and aliens, cowered in fear. Children cried. An old man held a metal pipe like a weapon. "We're here to help," Hale said calmly. A young woman stood. "You're humans?" "Yes," he said. "We follow the code." "You're safe now." Outside, a new wave of enemy soldiers arrived, bigger this time, armored with heavy weapons. Hale didn't move. "Fall back inside," he ordered. "Set traps. No shots until they fire." The squad obeyed. They planted mines quietly, took cover. A soldier aimed his rifle but didn't shoot. The enemy stopped just outside the shelter. They looked confused. One raised his weapon and fired. Hale gave the signal. The traps exploded, blinding the attackers. The humans struck fast, non-lethal shots, precise and clean. They disabled the entire squad in less than 2 minutes. Inside the shelter, the civilians watched in silence. "You didn't kill them," one whispered. "No need to," Hale said. They were defeated. Back in orbit, the Galactic Council watched the battle through spy satellites. The room was silent. The Reptan general grunted. They had a chance to wipe them out. Why hold back? They protect civilians. Even alien ones, someone else muttered. They use traps, said another. But not to kill, only to stop. A Zareth captain shook his head. No army does this. It's madness. But the Trellic diplomat leaned forward, eyes narrowed. It's not madness, he said. It's control. Every move, every shot, not one mistake. On the surface, Hale's team had reached the medical center. It was half destroyed. Fires. Burned outside. Inside, wounded were everywhere. Humans, aliens, even enemy soldiers who had been left behind. A human medic knelt by an alien soldier who had lost a leg. She worked fast, stopping the bleeding, giving painkillers. Why are you helping me? The alien gasped. Because you're alive, she said. And the code says we save who we can. The alien didn't speak again. Another soldier, Sergeant Lin, found a boy hiding under a desk. The boy looked up in fear. You with them? He asked, pointing outside. No, Lin said. I'm with him. He pointed to Commander Hale. Your leader? The boy asked. Our example, Lin replied. Hale stood outside the center, scanning the streets. A new signal came in. More enemy troops were coming. Bigger force, tanks, flyers. It would be a tough fight. We hold this place, Hale said. Civilians are here. Wounded, too. One soldier hesitated. There's too many, sir. We might not make it. We'll make it, Hale said, voice calm. We have the code. They set up defenses. Every soldier moved like they had practiced it 1,000 times. No shouting, no panic. They didn't just prepare to fight, they prepared to protect. As the enemy approached, they saw something strange. The humans weren't running, weren't hiding, weren't striking first. They were ready, waiting, silent. Then the battle began. Drones swarmed. Blasters lit the sky. Buildings shook. But the humans held the line. They took down flyers with EMP traps. They used cover. They disabled tanks by targeting weak joints, not with missiles, but with planning. The enemy started to panic. This wasn't war as they knew it, and then silence. The enemy pulled back, retreating. Some even dropped their weapons. The humans didn't chase. They didn't cheer. They stayed at their post, guarding, protecting. Back on the council ship, the alien leaders were speechless. One finally whispered, "They won, without breaking their own rules." Another said, "They don't just fight with weapons, they fight with belief." Commander Hale stood in the ruins of the medical center. He looked around. Everyone was alive. He said only one thing. "This is why we follow the code." And far away, those who had laughed no longer smiled. The enemy had fallen back, but it wasn't over. From the high mountains north of Nara 7, a signal was sent, coded and fast. A secret order. The human squad had embarrassed the enemy forces. Now the alien commanders wanted to strike back hard, not with open battle, with a trap. In a dark war room deep in the mountains, a tall alien named General Karkis watched the human victory on screen. His face showed no emotion, but his eyes burned with anger. "They make fools of us," he said. "With rules, with mercy." He turned to his officers. "We will break them. With silence, with shadows." The plan was simple. Draw the humans into an open area, promise help, then surround and crush them. Back at the ruined colony, Commander Hale studied a broken enemy drone they had captured. He examined its memory chip. It had strange data, half-erased messages, one line repeated. Command outpost requesting talks, safe zone, coordinates marked. Sergeant Lin leaned over his shoulder. "Sounds like a trap," she said. Hale didn't smile. "It is. But we're going anyway?" she asked. Hale nodded. "Yes." The squad gathered. Hale showed them the map. "They want to lure us in, show the galaxy we can be fooled, that our code makes us predictable." "So what do we do?" asked Private Daniels. Hale looked around. "We go in, but not blind. We use the code." At the council ship in orbit, the alien leaders watched the feed. The trap had been shared with them. Everyone was curious. Would the humans fall for it? "They follow rules like a path," said the Zareth general. "They can't help it." Then, "This ends now," said another. The human squad moved quickly across broken roads, then through dense jungle. Drones followed above, but Hale had disabled most trackers. They knew they were walking into danger, but still they walked calmly. They reached the marked area, an open field with large stone ruins, old towers, no cover. Sergeant Lin whispered, "Too quiet." Hale looked around. "Get ready." Without warning, shots rang out. From the trees, from above, from below. Enemy soldiers rose from the grass. Mechs moved from behind the towers. They had surrounded the humans from all sides. One alien commander stepped forward with a loudspeaker. "Drop your weapons. There is no escape. Your code has failed you." Hale didn't move. He looked around slowly. The human squad didn't panic. They didn't scream. They stood back to back in a circle, facing every direction. "We follow the code," Hale said. "We do not surrender." The enemy opened fire, but they had made one mistake. The humans knew it was a trap. A flash bomb went off from the ground, human tech buried hours before. Drones exploded mid-air. Smoke spread fast, blocking sight. The enemy fired blindly. Inside the smoke, Hale gave silent hand signals. His team moved fast, tight formation, controlled shots. Each human had memorized the terrain before the mission. The enemy didn't know the humans had studied every rock, every wall. From above, it looked like chaos. But in the smoke, the humans moved like water. No wasted motion. They didn't try to kill. They disarmed, disabled, pushed back. An alien soldier tried to escape. Hale tackled him but didn't strike. He tied his arms and moved on. Minutes passed. The smoke cleared, and the field was silent. The humans stood tall. Dozens of enemy soldiers lay on the ground, alive, wounded, but breathing. A single enemy officer looked around, stunned. "You knew?" he asked Hale. "We expected a lie," Hale said, "but we always prepare for the worst." "Why didn't you kill us?" the officer asked, coughing. Hale looked down at him. "Because the code does, not allow it." Back on the council ship, the room was quiet. "They should be dead," one alien said. "They were supposed to be surrounded," said another. But the Trellic diplomat leaned forward again. "No, they were never surrounded. They were ready." The Reptan general stood. "They follow the code like a weapon," the Zareth general growled. "No, they are the weapon." On Nara 7, Hale's squad stood among the ruins. They had won again, without cruelty, without breaking their code. A drone above sent live footage back to every council member. No one laughed this time. Commander Hale sent a short message to the council. "You sent us to prove the code was foolish. Instead, we showed you it works. And we're not finished yet." Then he turned to his team. "We move at dawn. The enemy still holds the South, and we still hold the code." And as the humans marched forward, even the aliens who mocked them began to wonder, what kind of soldiers win without hate? And how do you defeat an enemy that never forgets who they are? The sun rose slowly over the southern plains of Nara 7. Smoke still rose from destroyed towns and battlefields. Alien war machines rolled across the hills, searching for survivors. The enemy had not stopped. In fact, after their failed ambush, they were more aggressive than ever. Commander Hale stood on a ridge with his squad. His armor was scratched, his face tired, but his eyes were sharp. In the distance, the human scanners picked up enemy movement. A large convoy, full of weapons, prisoners, and supplies, was heading for the last safe zone where civilians were hiding. "They'll reach the shelter by nightfall," Sergeant Lynn said. Hale nodded. "Then we stopped them before that." But as they planned the mission, a drone arrived, damaged but still working. It was from a nearby human patrol. The message it carried was short. "Patrol 09 under attack. Some survivors taken. Requesting rescue. Coordinates attached." The team went silent. Sergeant Lynn looked at Hale. "There are people, sir. We can't leave them." "I know," Hale said quietly. "But if we go after them, we might not." "Stop that convoy," Private Daniels added. Everyone knew the code said to protect the many over the few. It was one of the hardest parts of being human in war. You couldn't save everyone. Hale took a deep breath. 2 missions, 1 squad, 1 choice. He looked at the faces of his team. Tired, loyal, waiting. "We split," he said. "I'll go with Lynn to stop the convoy. Daniels, you take the others and rescue the patrol. We follow the code, save as many as we can, even if we can't be everywhere." It was risky. Splitting the team meant both groups would be weaker. But the code also said something else. Never. Abandon your own. The council in orbit watched the decision in real time. "They're splitting up?" asked one alien leader. "They will be crushed," the Zareth general said. "This is foolish." "No," said the Trellic diplomat. "This is the code in action." Commander Hale and Lynn moved fast, using tunnels and old transport rails. They reached the edge of a cliff where they could see the convoy moving below, 6 armored transports, 2 tanks, and flying guards above. They only had 2 humans, 2 against 20. Lynn checked her gear. We can't take them all head on. We don't need to, Hale said. We just need to stop the lead transport. They waited until the convoy moved into a narrow canyon. Then Hale gave the signal. Explosives hidden in old rock piles went off. The first 2 transports flipped, blocking the path. Panic spread. Hale and Lynn struck fast, targeting engines, wheels, and weapons, not the soldiers, only the machines. It was surgical. One alien soldier ran at them, screaming with a blade. Lynn dodged and stunned him with a shock rod. She didn't kill. Behind them, a transport door burst open. Prisoners ran out, human, alien, wounded, but alive. Meanwhile, in the mountains, Daniels and the others reached the patrol's last known location. It was worse than they thought. The survivors were being used as bait, tied up in the open, surrounded by mines with snipers in the cliffs above. It's a trap, said one soldier. Daniels frowned. Yeah, but we still go. Using smoke grenades and climbing gear, they moved in slowly. Each step mattered. One wrong move, and the mines would explode. They reached the prisoners and cut the ropes. The moment they started pulling them out, shots came from the cliffs. Daniels didn't panic. He gave clear orders. 2 soldiers returned fire. One ran to shield a wounded man. They didn't try to kill the snipers. They blinded their scopes, broke their guns, and forced a retreat. No deaths, just rescue. When the team returned to the rendezvous point, Hale and Lynn were already there. The convoy had been stopped. The prisoners were free, but something was wrong. One soldier walked toward Hale slowly. He looked shaken. We lost one, he said quietly. Hale's face didn't change. Who? Private Benson. Took a shot to protect a civilian. He didn't make it. Hale closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. We will remember him. He followed the code. Later that night, the team sat by a small fire. No one talked for a long time. Finally, Sergeant Lynn spoke. Sometimes the code hurts. Hale nodded. Yes, but without it, we're just weapons. No soul, no control. Back on the council ship, the footage of the day's missions played in silence. The Zareth general turned away. They're fools, but others disagreed. They saved civilians and their own, said one. They refused to kill prisoners, said another. The Trelac diplomat simply whispered, They are not like us. And deep inside, some of them started to ask a quiet, dangerous question. What if the code isn't weakness? What if it's strength that we don't understand yet? For the first time in weeks, there was silence. Commander Hale and his squad had cleared the southern zones. Civilians were safe, and the enemy forces had pulled back. They had won more battles than anyone expected, and they had done it while following the code. But Hale wasn't smiling. He stood outside the main shelter, watching a distant ship land. It carried members of the Galactic Council, aliens who had once laughed at Earth's way of war. Now they had come to speak in person. Inside the council tent, a meeting began. Commander Hale stood on one side. On the other were 3 alien leaders: the Trelac diplomat, the Zareth general, and the Reptan commander. The Reptan slammed a clawed hand on the table. This needs to end. We came to prove your code was weak, but instead you've humiliated our armies. Hale didn't respond. The Zareth general pointed a bony finger at him. You humans say you fight with honor, but honor doesn't win wars. Fear does. Fire does. Then the Trelac diplomat spoke calmly. You've made your point, Commander, but this war isn't over. We still have enemies in Sector 9. We need your help. Hale raised an eyebrow. And you'll follow the code? No, the Reptan snapped. We'll let you follow it, while we do the real work. Hale didn't answer. He just walked out. That night, the squad received a mission, a joint operation. Human forces would lead, council forces would follow. The goal was to clear a fortress holding enemy leaders. Sergeant Lin studied the map. Looks risky, one way in, one way out. Private Daniels frowned. You trust them? To back us up? Hale said nothing. But in his gut, something felt wrong. Still, they prepared. At dawn, they moved toward the fortress, tall, black, covered in strange alien tech. Human drones scanned it from above. The enemy was ready inside. Hale's squad led the approach, slipping through the front gate using stealth and misdirection. Inside, they moved like shadows, disabling guards and marking key targets. So far, everything was going right. Then, the signal came. They were ready to strike. Hale tapped his comm. Council squads move in, now. No answer. He tried again. Council, do you copy? Still silence. Then the fortress lights turned red, doors locked, alarms blared, and from behind came explosions. The walls shook as charges went off, placed from the outside. Not by enemies, by the council. Sergeant Lin's eyes widened. They trapped us. Hale clenched his fists. They want us to die here. Private Daniels looked around. Why? Why betray us? But Hale already knew. They want to prove the code doesn't work. If we die in here, they'll say it was weakness. Say we followed rules that killed us. The squad quickly took cover. Enemy troops flooded the hallways. It was an ambush from two sides. The enemy inside, the council outside. But the humans didn't give up. We hold the inner chamber, Hale ordered. We control the fight. The team moved fast, securing a strong position. They disabled lights, blocked paths, and used every bit of training they had. They did not scream. They did not panic. They followed the code: defend, protect, survive. Minutes. Felt like hours. Outside, council ships watched the fortress burn. They'll be dead soon, the Repton commander said. But the Trelac diplomat looked uncertain. Inside the fortress, something changed. One of the enemy soldiers, an alien sniper, was wounded. He lay on the ground, groaning. Sergeant Lin rushed past him, then stopped. She looked down, raised her weapon, paused, then lowered it. She pulled out her medkit. The sniper looked confused. Why help me? Because the code doesn't change, even if we were betrayed. From a hidden camera, the council saw this act. The Trelac diplomat sat back in his chair, eyes wide. They still follow it, he whispered. Even now. Inside the fortress, Hale's squad pushed forward. They broke into the control room, shut down defenses, opened a secret tunnel the enemy didn't know they found earlier. They escaped, bruised, bleeding, angry, but alive. When they returned to base, no one cheered. No one smiled. Sergeant Lin looked at Hale. They tried to get us killed. Yes, he said. What do we do now? Hale looked out at the sky. We show them what the code really means, not just in war, in truth. That night, Hale sent a message to every council member. You tried to use us as weapons. You tried to prove we were weak. But we lived. We protected. We followed the code. He paused. And now the whole galaxy saw what you did. And from that moment, the story began to spread. Not just of the human warriors, but of the ones who were betrayed and still chose to show mercy. The betrayal had been broadcast across 3 systems. Someone had leaked the full mission footage, how the council abandoned the humans, how Hale's squad was locked inside a death trap, and how they still followed the code, even when no one was watching. People were shocked. Across space, soldiers watched the video. Civilians watched. Even enemy commanders watched. They had expected the humans to break, but they hadn't. Now, everything was changing. On the council ship, meetings turned, cold and quiet. No one wanted to speak first. "The leak ruined our plan," the Zareth general hissed. "It showed too much," said the Repton commander. "They saved their enemies again. It makes them look noble." The Trelac diplomat didn't speak. He just stared at the screen, replaying the moment Sergeant Lin helped the enemy sniper. "She followed the code," he whispered, "even when it made no sense." The Zareth general stood. "Then we crush them. No more tricks. We bring full force. To Nara 7, wipe out their base, make an example." The others agreed, but the Trelac diplomat remained quiet. And deep inside, he wasn't sure anymore. Down on Nara 7, the human squad was preparing for the worst. Commander Hale sat in the field command tent. His armor was repaired, but his heart was heavy. He looked at the data scans. Enemy ships arriving in orbit. Too many. Sergeant Lin entered. "They're coming." "I know." "They're afraid," she added. "That's why they're bringing everything now." Hale looked at her. "Good. Fear makes people act fast, sometimes without thinking." Private. Daniel stepped in next. "Sir, we just got a message. It's strange." Hale raised an eyebrow. "From who?" Daniels hesitated. "From the enemy side." They played the message. A rough voice spoke in broken English. "We fight you. We hate your code. But we respect it. Some of us want to talk." The room went still. Sergeant Lin frowned. "An enemy wants to talk peace? Now?" "It could be a trick," Daniels warned. "Maybe," Hale said. "But maybe it's something else." That night, Hale went alone to the meeting point, a quiet canyon near the old battlefield. No weapons, just words. An alien commander stood there, tall, covered in battle armor. A scar ran down his face. "I lost 3 brothers to you," he said. Hale didn't flinch. "I'm sorry." The alien stepped closer. "But I saw what you did. You could have killed us all. You didn't." "Why?" Hale answered softly. "Because that's the code. Mercy. When it's hardest." The alien nodded slowly. "Some of us believe you now. Not all. But some." He handed Hale a small data chip. "This has troop positions, supply lines, weak points." Hale took it, eyes wide. "Why give this to me?" "Because I'm tired of dying for lies," the alien said. "And I want my people to live, not just win." Then he left. By morning, Hale returned to camp. He gave the chip to his team. They studied the data carefully. It was real. Verified. Everything checked out. With this, they could strike first, save lives, end the war faster. But it came with risk. "If we use this," Sergeant Lin said, "the Council will say we cheated, took enemy help." Hale shook his head. "They betrayed us, and we still followed the code. Now we use this to stop more bloodshed. That's what the code is for." His team nodded. Later that day, the humans launched a quiet operation, a strike on enemy supply hubs. Not to destroy, just to cut power, disable fuel, jam comms. It worked. Ships couldn't fly, mechs couldn't move. Enemy lines began to collapse, and something strange happened. As the human squad moved in, more enemy soldiers dropped their weapons. They didn't fight. Some even helped civilians escape. Some helped carry the wounded. The Council watched, confused. "They're not fighting back?" the Reptan commander shouted. "Why?" The Trelac diplomat answered first. "Because the humans didn't make them hate. They showed mercy." The Zareth general slammed his fist down. "This cannot stand!" But he didn't realize what was already happening. A second message leaked to the public, this time from the enemy side. A soldier recorded himself saying, "We followed orders. We were told to kill humans like monsters, but they spared us." Again and again. Maybe they are not weak. Maybe they are what we should be. Now, even some council soldiers were asking questions, and in secret meetings across the galaxy, whispers grew louder. Maybe the code works. Maybe the humans aren't fools. Maybe we were wrong. Back on Nara 7, Commander Hale stood at the edge of camp. He watched the stars. Sergeant Lin joined him. "You think they'll come with full force now?" Hale nodded. "Yes, but we'll be ready." Daniels joined them too. "Sir, what if this turns into something bigger?" Hale looked at them both. "Then we fight. Not for revenge, not for power, but to show them," he paused, "why we made the code in the first place." And in the silence of that moment, the final battle began to form, out there in the stars, and deep inside every soldier's heart. The sky above Nara 7 turned red as the enemy fleet arrived. Hundreds of ships formed a ring around the planet. On the surface, every scanner screamed with warnings. Tanks rolled in, drones flew, weapons charged. It was the largest force ever seen in the war. Commander Hale stood in the main outpost, staring at the maps. Every path was blocked. Every route was watched. Sergeant Lin entered. "They're surrounding us." Private Daniels followed. "Council ships, too. Looks like they're working with the enemy now." Hale didn't answer at first. He was thinking. Calm, focused. "We expected this," he said. "They want to crush us all at once." Lin nodded. "They're afraid." "Good," Hale replied. "Now we show them why." The humans didn't run. Instead, they broadcast one message across every channel, open to friend and foe. "We are not surrendering. We will not strike first, but we will protect every life we can. If you come knowing this. We still follow the code." The message was simple, clear, and it shook the galaxy. On the council ship, leaders watched in silence. The Zareth general laughed. "Still pretending to be noble?" the Repton commander growled. "Then we end it." But the Trelac diplomat raised a hand. "Wait. Look." Across the screens, something unexpected happened. The enemy army stopped. Not all of them, but enough. Ships held position. Soldiers lowered weapons. Small units broke formation. Confusion spread. In some squads, entire commanders refused to fire. "They're waiting," Lin said, watching the feed. "They're thinking." Hale nodded slowly. The code reached them, but not everyone, had changed. On the far side of the planet, a powerful council dreadnought charged its main cannon. One shot could destroy the entire human base. "They're going to fire anyway," Daniel said, "even if some soldiers don't agree." Hale looked at the sky. "Then we give them a choice." He turned on the comms and spoke again. This time, to everyone. "You mocked our code. You said mercy was weakness. But look at your own ranks now. They hesitate, because deep down, they remember. Life matters. Even in war." The cannon above charged louder. 10 seconds left. You can end us, or you can listen. What makes a warrior strong isn't how many they kill. It's who they choose to save. 5 seconds. We made the code not because we feared war. We made it because we've lived it. And we chose to be more than weapons. We chose to be human. The cannon blinked, then went dark. The dreadnought didn't fire. Not because it was damaged, because its crew refused the order. Across the battlefield, council soldiers dropped their weapons. Enemy troops turned and walked away. The entire invasion stopped. Back on the council ship, the Zareth general stood, shaking with rage. They disobeyed. The Trelac diplomat replied calmly. No, they understood. The Reptan commander stared at the blank screen. The code defeated us. Commander Hale walked outside. The sky was quiet again. The stars returned. Soldiers, human, alien, even, former enemies, stood side by side. No guns, no shouting, just silence. Sergeant Lin stepped beside him. "Is it over?" Hale looked around. "For now. But the real battle starts now." "What do you mean?" Now we teach, he said. We show them the code wasn't just rules in war. It's how we live, how we rebuild. Daniels walked up, smiling for the first time in weeks. Guess they finally listened. Hale nodded. They mocked our code of war. He looked at the stars, calm, distant, peaceful. Then they saw why we made it. And from that day on, the code was no longer just human. It became a light in the dark corners of the galaxy, proof that even in war, there could be a better way. One squad proved it, one human showed it, and the galaxy would never forget.